live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening and welcome to the National News broadcast, bringing to you live from the National News Studios here at the ChannelEye Rupavahini Corporation. We're ready to bring you the top stories here at home and around the world. I'm Charita Minuparachi. Joining with me today is Sharifa Tahir. The 5th BIMSTEC Summit successfully concludes. The President addressing the conference said cooperation between countries is necessary to resurrect the economy and the people in the face of a global crisis. 1 million litro gas cylinders has been released to the market in the past 10 days. Prominence to health requirements despite the prevalence of a foreign exchange crisis. The Prime Minister reiterated that this is a moment for all parties to get together on behalf of the country, shedding political differences. Sri Lanka records more than 100,000 tourist arrivals within a month after a period of 2 years. Signs of a peace agreement between Russia and Ukraine. On to those and other stories in detail now, and starting off with the top local story. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says that international and inter-regional cooperation should be enhanced to rebuild the economy that is collapsing due to the current global crisis and enrich the people affected by poverty. The President made these remarks while addressing the 5th BIMSTEC Summit today. Leaders of the BIMSTEC member nations praised President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and the government of Sri Lanka for the leadership rendered to the BIMSTEC organization thus far. The Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation, known as BIMSTEC, is a regional organization that was established in 1977 with the signing of the Bangkok Declaration. The 5th BIMSTEC Summit was scheduled to be held in 2020 but was postponed later due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The BIMSTEC Senior Officers Meeting and the Ministerial Meeting was held at the BMICH Colombo, representing Sri Lanka, India, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal and Thailand, and the State Leaders Summit was held in a virtual mode. This year's summit was hosted by Sri Lanka and chaired by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Delivering the welcome address and the country statement for the BIMSTEC Summit, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said that all BIMSTEC member nations should work together to facilitate relief for the people affected from the COVID-19 pandemic.
The world has faced its worst crisis this century with the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic badly affected all nations. Many countries underwent significant economic, social and political change, with its ripple effects continuing to impact the global economy. Rising oil prices, freight charges and supply constraints arising from the pandemic are causing inflation around the world. Alongside the rising cost of living, millions have suffered lost livelihoods with the closure of countless businesses, narrowing of economic opportunities, and in some instances, the fall of entire industries. Together with other global crises in recent times, these worsening economic conditions have had profound negative impact, especially on developing nations where millions have been pushed into poverty. Recovering from this situation will require improved international and intra-regional cooperation in the coming months and years. Excellencies, Sri Lanka was fortunate that early action against the pandemic helped avert mass loss of life. With its strong public health infrastructure, supported by a whole of government approach to vaccine rollout, more than 82% of all Sri Lankans over the age of 12 have already been fully vaccinated, with 54% also receiving booster doses. This has allowed us to reduce most social restrictions and return to some degree of normalcy. However, as with many other developing countries, the economic consequences of the pandemic were especially severe on Sri Lanka. The restrictions imposed to curtail the spread of the virus in 2020 and 2021 seriously affected every sector of our economy. The loss of tourism and remittances from expatriates workers, alongside the cost of healthcare programs and provisions of welfare for those whose livelihoods were affected by pandemic, have combined with rising global inflation and our historic debt service obligations to create a challenging economic situation for Sri Lanka today. However, I am confident that together with the remarkable strength and resilience of our people, tried and tested over time, and the cooperation of our regional and international partners, Sri Lanka will prevail over these difficulties and engineer a rapid economic recovery. I especially appreciate the support of several BIMSTEC member states in this endeavor. Since its founding in 1997, BIMSTEC has grown into an important platform for countries in this region to support each other by sharing their experiences, strengths and expertise. Sri Lanka welcomes investment in projects and industries that require technological know-how and which can develop our human capital and productivity while creating new market opportunities. Tourism, which is finally starting to re-emerge after 2 years of near inactivity, holds great potential for all BIMSTEC nations. Fostering intra-regional tourism should therefore be a pillar in BIMSTEC's agenda. This will not only support economic recovery in the short term, but create new economic opportunities for member states in the long term. Sri Lanka stands ready to work with BIMSTEC in enhancing cooperation between member states on these matters. Excellencies, although there are challenges to be faced, I have no doubt that the future of BIMSTEC is clear and strong. Through our collective efforts, BIMSTEC can realize the aspirations encapsulated in the theme of today's summit. BIMSTEC can also become an important collective voice from Asia on the global stage. Let us work together to achieve this on behalf of our region, our nations, and all our people.
Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina said that global pandemic as well as the rising prices of essential commodities have affected the livelihoods of the people in the region. To address these issues, the Bangladeshi Prime Minister said that everyone should join hands to work together. Premier Hasina also said that all member states should join hands to fully implement the organization's 14 sectors of cooperation. Pointing out the need to improve digital connectivity in the region, the Prime Minister of Bhutan, Dr. Lote Tshering, called for the provision of free or affordable internet access to the public. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that a grant of $1 million will be provided for the successful functioning of the BIMSTEC Secretariat. The Indian Premier said that time has also come to formulate the necessary legal frameworks to increase connectivity and cooperation among the countries of the organization. He also emphasized the importance of developing the agricultural and other sectors by adding value to the products. Meanwhile, Nepal's Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba highlighted the need for enhanced cooperation to combat terrorist activities, human trafficking and money laundering. Myanmar Foreign Minister Vuna Maung said food security should be given priority in the face of ongoing challenges. Thailand is ready to assist member states in promoting sustainable and environment-friendly tourism, Thai Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha said. Adoption of the BIMSTEC Charter was also held at the summit. All BIMSTEC state leaders praised President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and the Sri Lankan government for rendered duty in formulating and adopting the Charter. Signing of several legal agreements and handing over of the chairmanship of BIMSTEC to Thailand for the years 2022-2023 also took place during the summit. Thai Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha pledged to commit for the betterment of the BIMSTEC organization. The conclusion of the 5th BIMSTEC summit was declared with the launching of the summit publication.
And well, in a related note, the foreign ministers of Bangladesh, Bhutan and Nepal who are in Sri Lanka to attend the BIMSTEC summit called on President Gotabaya Rajapaksa at the President's house today. President Rajapaksa thanked the ministers for attending the 5th BIMSTEC summit in Colombo. The ministers appreciated the president for hosting the summit in a grand manner and commended his address to the summit. The ministers briefed the president about the impact the COVID-19 pandemic had on the economies of their countries. Bhutanese Foreign Minister Dr. Tandi Dorji said that medical education in Sri Lanka is at a high level and requested that more students be given the opportunity to study medicine in Sri Lanka. The president paid his special attention to the request made by the minister to grant relief for visas issued annually to foreign students. Bhutan is a country that is tending towards organic farming. Minister Dorji explained to the president its effectiveness. Nepal's Foreign Minister Dr. Narayan Khadka recalled 65 years of diplomatic relations between the two countries. Dr. Khadka pointed out the importance of encouraging cultural exchange between the two countries as countries within common cultural and religious heritage, adding that Buddhist tourists can visit the country as it is open now for visitors. President Rajapaksa expressed his pleasure over the economic progress achieved by Bangladesh to Foreign Minister of Bangladesh, A.K. Abdul Momen.
And meanwhile, Minister Bandula Gunawardena says that President has appointed a 4-member committee to select specialist international experiences to manage the state loan crisis. This was disclosed at a media discussion organized by the Presidential Media Center today. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that Sri Lanka is a country which has been subjected to an economic collapse continuously for 5 years. The COVID-19 pandemic has put down the economy to the level of -3.6. The country has reached the lowest economic growth rate for the first time in history in the 2020. The minister has added that therefore political slogans will never find solutions to this problem. What is needed is the application of scientific economic principle. Minister Gunawardena has also pointed out that Sri Lanka must face the reality and align with the prevailing global condition. He further said that the government has taken the necessary alternatives to defuse the crisis. Accordingly, the cabinet of ministers headed by the president has decided to conduct talks with the foreign funds. The government urgently anticipates specialist assistance to resolve the issue and to select the international experts who would assist to deal with the problem of the inability to pay back the loans. Accordingly, the committee appointed in this connection is comprised of 2 ministers, Professor G.L. Peiris and Ali Sabri. It has also includes that the governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka and the secretary to the Ministry of Finance.
දෙවන්ත රාජ්‍ය ණය අර්බුදය පිළිබඳ ජාත්‍යන්තර අධ්‍යක්ෂින් තියෙන විශේෂඥයෙක්ගේ උපදෙස් ලබා ගන්න. ඒ නිසා ප්‍රශ්නේ බැරෑරුම්කම තේරෙනවා. ඉන්ධන ආනයන කිරීමේ
Chairman of the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation Sumit Vijayasinghe said that the government was compelled to spend a sum of between $1.1 to $1.2 billion for the importation of fuel for the month of January, February and March. This amount reflects the highest price paid for fuel requirements in recent history. The chairman added that by judging the current trends, the country would need more than $5 billion to import fuel throughout the year, even if the current prices remain at the same level. He also said that the diesel consumption in January of 2021 was 139,000 metric tons. In January of 2022, the figure has risen to 198,000 metric tons. By March of this year, the figure has further increased to 211,500 metric tons. The chairman further said that it is necessary to find out the reason for the unlimited consumption patterns. His aide pointed out that in comparison to the previous years, a 30 to 35% increase in fuel consumption has been recorded. The corporation is unable to fulfill the demand for diesel for the 2 days under present circumstances. Therefore, he has requested the people not to give up at filling stations. The chairman has assured the necessary petrol, diesel and aircraft fuel will be provided according to a plan in the month of April. He has expressed hope of being able to deliver fuel stocks without a problem in the coming month.
සැලස්මකට අනු ලැබෙනවා. අපි හිතනවා අප්‍රේල් මාසය තුල මේක කිසිදු ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැතුව ඔබට අවශ්‍ය ඉන්ධන ලබා දීමට කටයුතු කළ හැකියි කියලා. දැන් මේ වෙනකොට අපි
Chairman of the Electrogas company Teshwar Jayasinghe said that at present they are working at the maximum capacity. Every day the company issues more than 30,000 cylinders to the normal daily requirement. In the past 10 days, nearly a million gas cylinders were released to the market. Even today, 120,000 cylinders were issued. The chairman has further stated that more than 100,000 cylinders will be released on a daily basis in the next few days as well. The Electrogas company also said that there are competition in the gas industry as his company is providing gas at low cost. Therefore, he added that if a person spends more than at least ₹1, then the prevailing price they should be engaging in an illegal act. He has requested to inform the Sri Lanka police of incidents of selling gas at higher prices.
And we now bring you an update on the prominence given to health requirements for the general public. Minister Kehelia Rambukwala says prominence is being given to the health requirements of the general public despite the existence of a foreign exchange crisis. He was expressing opinion to the media in Kandy today. Minister Kehelia Rambukwala said that there is a problem relating to imported goods. However, the President has instructed to give prominence to fulfill the health requirements of the people. The minister added that a program of the examination extent is being carried out. He has acknowledged minor shortcomings in the program and expressed hope of rectifying them shortly.
And in Sri Lanka, the success, the comparison with regard to the previous year's Sharifa, irrigation activities took place in a prominent manner, and the Wari Saubhagya program is one such initiative taken in order to build the irrigation platforms. And the second stage of the program for the development of the Wari Saubhagya Great Irrigation Network and the reconstruction of 5,000 acres of rural lakes has commenced today. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has presided over the ceremony held in this connection at the Temple Trees today. The first stage of the program has got underway in the year 2021. The targets of the Stage 1 program has been exceeded by reconstructing 1,740 lake anicuts. 2,000 lakes and anicuts are scheduled to be constructed by the end of the year. The aim is to reconstruct more than 4,000 anicuts by next year. The anticipated total cost of the project is 3 billion rupees. The Prime Minister has officially inaugurated the second stage of the project from the Temple Trees via Zoom technology. The Prime Minister has also taken the initiative to reconstruct the Mega Weather and Mahaweather in Kobegan in the Kurunegala district. In parallel to this program, work has commenced on 100 more lakes in the Kurunegala district. State Minister Anuradha Jayaratne said that the objective is to enhance the rural economy of the farmer community. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa said that if any particular solution presented by even the opposition would enable to carry the country forward, this is not a time to engage in politics. All must unite and work thinking of the country. The Prime Minister has extended an open invitation to every party to join the next Elder Party Conference. A new year will dawn shortly. The Prime Minister further said that people need to have unnecessary fears of persisting shortages of fuel, food and rising cost of living. He added that a government that they have provided necessary facilities to the people to overcome their difficulties and to lead a normal life. Ministers including Shamal Rajapaksa and members of parliament as well as Governor of the Northwestern Province and Admiral of the Fleet Wasantha Karunagoda and ministry's secretaries have also attended the event.
Moving on to more stories, and this time over we shift a little bit to Ukraine to give you an update on a recent concern. Several European countries announced that they would expel dozens of Russian diplomats over suspected espionage. The announcements made by Belgium, the Netherlands, Ireland and the Czech Republic come after the Biden administration in late February said it was beginning the process of expelling 12 Russian intelligence operatives who allegedly carried out espionage activities harmful to national security. The move to expel the Russian envoys also comes on the backdrop of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which entered its second month last week. Yesterday, Russia expelled a total of 10 diplomats from the European Union's 3 Baltic states of Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania in retaliation for those countries expelling Russian diplomats earlier this month. The Russian Foreign Ministry said it was cancelling the accreditation of 4 Lithuanian diplomats, 3 Latvians and 3 Estonians, and they would be required to leave the country.
And on a different note, top rank management of the Noritake Lanka Porcelain Private Company has met Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa at the Temple Trees yesterday. Executive Consultant of the company Srinimal Pereira, Senior Director TC Tennakon, Director and General Manager Sujata Edekodagoda was engaged in a discussion with the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister was enlightened on the business progress of the company up to now. The Noritake Lanka Porcelain Private Company has commenced as a joint venture company of Noritake Group and the Ceylon Ceramics Corporation in the year 1972. Since then, the company has been functioning as a pioneer producer of porcelain ceramic items in the country.
In the meantime, we have some positive news. The number of tourist arrivals in Sri Lanka has exceeded 100,000 within a month. After a period of 2 years, it has been reported that 100,192 tourists have visited Sri Lanka since the 1st of this month until yesterday. The Ministry of Tourism says more than 280,000 have arrived in the island throughout the year. The COVID pandemic has paralyzed Sri Lanka's tourism industry for around 2 years. Yet the systematic inoculation program has attracted the attention of world tourists once again on Sri Lanka. It was due to this reason that the country has been recording an increase in the number of tourist arrivals on a daily basis. In the month of January this year alone, 82,000 tourists had visited the country. The number had increased to 96,000 in the following month of February. In the year 2021, the total number of foreign tourists to the country was recorded as 194,495. The data has clearly demonstrated the fact that a gradual growth in tourist arrivals has been taking place since January of this year. Most of the 100,000 tourists who had arrived in the island during this month were Indian nationals. The second most highest number of tourists has been reported from England.
And on the same note, Managing Director of Tourism's Promotion Bureau, Padma Siravardhana, explained the reasons behind the recent increase of tourist arrivals in an executive interview with the national television a short while ago. She shared remarks over the current promotional activities initiated by the Bureau as well.
Actually, we achieved this 100 tourists per month target after 2019. After 2019, we had a definite decrease in tourist arrivals due to the Easter attack, and then the COVID pandemic came in 2020. So after that, 2020 closed down. I think Sri Lanka Tourism worked as a team to achieve this success. So actually, during this lockdown, we were able to train all the tourist service providers and to introduce a safe and secure certificate to them. Based on that, actually, Sri Lanka was the first country in Asia to given the safe and secure certificate by World Tourism Agency. I think that sent out a good message to the community that Sri Lanka is a safe country to visit. We couldn't really do all the traditional kind of tourist promotions. However, we managed to conduct webinars. We managed to conduct live streaming of our wild parks. So that kind of promotions, we were able to achieve this target.
She also explained about the future promotional campaigns targeting the traditional and non-traditional destinations.
As per the government manifesto, the target given to us is 7 million tourists by 2030 and 10 billion US dollar income to the country. So to achieve that target, now we are on the verge of launching our global communication campaign, which will be launched during the second quarter of 2022. We have almost completed our procurement process. Now we will just have to award the contract. So under this campaign, global campaign, we will be launching a wellness tourism campaign. Because we have data to suggest that after the pandemic, people are more going towards this wellness themed tourism attractions. They are going for healing and meditation. So that is the immediate plan.
Sharifa, in a country, a major concern is that the export sector, and in order to for a country to be developed, exports is one of the major concerns as well, and we do have an update on that.
Exactly, Charita. In this case, we are certainly looking at a good flow of foreign exchange into the country, which is a good sign. The Sri Lanka Customs says the country exports revenue has been increased by 9.91% in the month of February this year in comparison to the relevant period of last year. This represents an increase of 1,046 million US dollars. The Sri Lanka Customs data also indicates that there has been a 5.8% increase in revenue in comparison to the figures of February in the year 2020. Sri Lanka has also been successful in maintaining its export revenue within the range of $1 billion US dollars since the beginning of the year. For 9 successive months, the revenue has surpassed the $1 billion mark since last year. Exports to partners of the Free Trade Agreement has amounted to 7.2% of the overall exportation of commodities commodity items. As a percentage, it was 23.4%, a substantial growth in the exports of animal feed, peppers, stitched garments, and has also been witnessed. Well, we'll be back with more local news updates after a short break. Do stay tuned in.
Prima Stella Set Yogurt. Be healthy, be active and be safe.
இது புத்தாண்டு காலம் டிஸ்கவுண்ட் காலம்.
இந்த புத்தாண்டு காலத்தில் மக்கள் வங்கியின் கடன் அட்டைகளூடாக ஷாப்பிங் செய்யும் உங்களுக்கு 60% வரையிலான பிரமாண்ட விலை கழிவுகள். உங்கள் கொள்வனவுக்கு வட்டியில்லா மாதாந்த தவணை கட்டண கொடுப்பனவு வசதி. வேறு கடன் அட்டை நிலுவையை பீப்பிள்ஸ் கிரெடிட் கார்டுக்கு மாற்றி உங்களுக்கு வசதியான மாதாந்த தவணை கட்டண அடிப்படையில் செலுத்தி முடிவுறுத்தலாம். மேலதிக விவரங்களுக்கு 1961 என இலக்கத்துக்கு அழையுங்கள். நிபந்தனைகளுக்கு உட்பட்டது. இந்த புத்தாண்டு காலத்தில் மக்கள் வங்கியின் கடன் அட்டைகளூடாக ஷாப்பிங் செய்யும் உங்களுக்கு 60% வரையிலான பிரம்மாண்ட விலை கழிவுகள். உங்கள் கொள்வனவுக்கு வட்டியில்லா மாதாந்த தவணை கட்டண கொடுப்பனவு வசதி. மேலதிக விவரங்களுக்கு 1961 என இலக்கத்துக்கு அழையுங்கள். நிபந்தனைகளுக்கு உட்பட்டது.
And welcome back. We continue with more stories here at home. Minister Dilum Amanugama says Sri Lanka will receive adequate fuel stocks under the Indian loan aid by the 5th of next month.
And addressing a media briefing of the Sri Lanka Podujana Perabuna today, the minister further said that with the receipt of these stocks, Sri Lanka fuel shortage will be completely resolved. Minister Dilum Amanugama said that it is necessary to act with caution in the coming days. He added that he could give an assurance that the fuel problem could be resolved by the 5th of April after discussions with the Petroleum Corporation. He added that the queues for the fuel consumption requirement may prevail until the 5th. The Indian ships will start to arrive at the island after Minister of Finance completed talks with the Indian authorities of receiving Indian loan assistance. Thereafter, fuel will be made available without any shortages.
In the meantime, leader of the National People's Power parliamentarian Anura Kumara Dissanayake says that all must join hands to build the country. He made these remarks addressing an NPP organised farmers rally in Polonnaruwa yesterday. The participants came in a procession to the venue of the meeting. The farmers have pointed out on this occasion that steps should be taken immediately to minimize the pressures inflicted upon the farmers by the current crisis. Leader of the NPP and parliamentarian Anura Kumara Dissanayake said this is the stage for the mothers, fathers, brothers and sisters to get together. The need for a change to be discussed with one another everywhere, including at the farm, at the boutique and at the bus stand.
And meanwhile, the government factory in Kalanavar has decided to locally manufacture for the first time motor vehicle number plates. The program is being implemented according to the instructions of the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. Installation, the program is scheduled to be implemented next year with the objective of saving large amount of foreign exchange being flown to foreign countries annually. Currently, a local private company is engaged in importing vehicle number plates and the contract is to be terminated next year. The data and statistics of the Department of Motor Traffic says Sri Lanka annually registered around 500,000 vehicles. This means that 1 million vehicle number plates are needed each year. The cost of importing the items amount to 600 million rupees. The Kalanavar government factory says the new program enables to save this amount.
Installation of a solar panel and a new water pump to the pumping station of the Purasandha Farmers Organisation in Track 6 of number 449 Rajanganya has commenced at a cost of 6.5 million rupees. The pumping station has been functioning through hydroelectricity power. As a result, a sum of 500 rupees has been levied from each farmer for 1 hour period on account of electricity bills and maintenance work. Conversion to solar power has enabled to minimize the charges.
An island-wide plant distribution and planting of saplings is being implemented in parallel to the home gardening campaign titled Harita Dayak. Let's begin from our own garden. The aim of this program is to inoculate the environmental friendly lifestyle by procuring fresh vegetables, green leaves and fruits of high nutrition value and without poisons from the home garden itself. Vegetable plants from plant beds of the Samut department are scheduled to be handed over to recipients in every Gramaladahari division with a period of 1 week starting today. Accordingly, State Minister Sri Pala Gamlath has presided over the distribution of necessary plants to farmers in Madhuragiriya today. Many varieties of vegetables and fruits and other crops were handed over. Planting of saplings at the auspicious moment has also been carried out in Bosrigaba in Ambalapitia in parallel to the Haritadayak National Home Gardening Program. The program was commenced with the planting of mango saplings. Each of the farmers engaged in the program was provided with water supply equipment valued at 100,000 rupees. Prajis Sabaha Shamanachala Nimanta has presided over the Haritadayak Home Gardening Program in the Kurunegala district. 40 types of vegetables and fruit seeds were distributed among owners of 120,000 selected home gardens. Stay tuned for international news after this break.
Prima Kottumi, hot and spicy Navavasarak Veva.
இந்த புத்தாண்டு காலத்தில் மக்கள் வங்கியின் கடன் அட்டைகளூடாக ஷாப்பிங் செய்யும் உங்களுக்கு 60% வரையிலான பிரம்மாண்ட விலை கழிவுகள். உங்கள் கொள்வனவுக்கு வட்டியில்லா மாதாந்த தவணை கட்டண கொடுப்பனவு வசதி. மேலதிக விவரங்களுக்கு 1963 எனும் இலக்கத்துக்கு அழையுங்கள். நிபந்தனைகளுக்கு உட்பட்டது.
Welcome back with international news. And when considering energy sources, renewable and non-renewable energy sources have this comparison. And when focusing about the renewable energy sources, the solar power takes a prominent place. And if we focus attention for solar power electricity generation, we would have not fallen in this trouble due to the fuel crisis or whatsoever. If the energy source is renewable, we have the benefit of renewing that energy and benefiting the future generations. Sharifa?
Exactly. So we do have some stories with regards to that, and this is in terms of a global update. Wind and solar generated 10% of global electricity for the first time in 2021, a new analysis shows. 50 countries get more than a tenth of their power from wind and solar sources, according to research from Ember, a climate and energy think tank. As the world's economies rebounded from the COVID-19 pandemic in 2021, demand for energy soared. Demand for electricity grew at a record pace. This saw a surge in coal power, rising at the fastest rate since 1985. The research shows the growth in the need for electricity last year was the equivalent of adding a new India to the world's grid.
Prima Kottumi, hot and spicy Navavasarak Veva.
Welcome back, and we're moving to the sports update, and it's the IPL. The Rajasthan Royals has emerged victorious in an Indian Premier League cricket tournament match against Sunrisers Hyderabad team yesterday.
The Royal team, beating first in the match played in Pune in India, scored 210 runs for the loss of 6 wickets at the end of the 20 overs. Captain Sanju Samson has scored 55 runs. Bowlers Nadraj and Umran Malik has captured 2 wickets each. The Hyderabad team, chasing a victory target of 211 runs, has slumped for 149 runs. The highest scorer of the losers was Aiden Makram, who remained not out at 57. Shavendra Chahal took 2 wickets, and the man of the match was Sanju Samson.
Another one. Very, very well tonight in the first side. Runs on the board, and then
the Hamid Al Hussein College, Colombo, has been successful in winning the President's Trophy Inter-School Football Tournament. In the finals played at the Colombo Racecourse grounds, Al Hussein beat the Kalatura Muslim College. The final score was 2-0. Maristella College Negombo has secured the 3rd place. An under-23 inter-club cricket tournament match between the Saracens and the Negombo Sports Club has ended in a draw at the Bloomfield grounds in Colombo. Another match of the tournament was played between the Gaul Cricket Club and the Capital Sports Club at the Thurston College grounds in Colombo. The Gaul team has won the match by 9 wickets. The 122nd Ruhunu Battle of the Blues has ended without a result at the Uyanwata Stadium in Mathura. The Mathura St. Thomas's team, which came to bat first, was dismissed for 132 runs in their second innings. Also, their inning was collapsed at 129 runs. The St. Sebastian's team, Mathura, were all out for 198 runs in their first innings and was at 49 runs for the loss of 5 wickets when their play came to an end.
And moving to more sports update, Kaunas Lithuania beat Avon to BZ and in an A group match of the Avon Super Cup basketball tournament at the Sugatadasa Indoor Stadium yesterday.
With the Lithuania team leading 43-26 at the end of the first half of the hotly contested encounter, despite the aggressive sporting style of the Avon BC team in the second half, they were compelled to go down before the Lithuania team 77-70. The Colombo Bulls team trounced the Army team by 81-58 in another A group match. The Bulls were leading 44-33 at the end of the first half as well. The Josephine BC and Moratua teams have clashed in a B group match at the Royal College Indoor Stadium in Colombo. The Moratua team has emerged victorious 58-44. The Ananda Kings also beat the Nugegoda Cages team in a B group match. The final tally was 90-44 in favour of the Nugegoda Cages team. The Wagons and Buffalo teams have competed in an evenly poised B group encounter. The Wagons were leading 31-28 at the end of the first half.
Creama Kottumi, hot and spicy Nava Vasarak Veva.
And with that, we conclude tonight's bulletin. Together with Charita and Sharifa, wishing you a pleasant night.
Good night.